helps to hit the right buttons. Here it is. John's having technical issues, and I'm having issues between operator and keyboard. Hopefully everything is working. Hopefully everything is working. Oh my goodness. Hoi vey. It wouldn't be a Sunday without being sidetracked, right? Well, yep, here we are. Cool. Thank you, John. Number 2. I appreciate that. Guess you won't get the styrofoam done tonight. No, daggone it. Yeah. Hey, look, you can see it over there. Oh my goodness. Well, this was a bit of a surprise, eh? Oh man. Yeah, John says, hey, I'm having technical issues, guys. I'm gonna have to cancel. You want me to cover? I can do that. That was what, 10 minutes ago, John? It's a good thing I've got the new rig. That's all I've got to say. Oh my goodness. Anyway, all right. Let's see what is going on out there in YouTube land. All right. Let's see what we've got here. Go over here, hanging with the participants list. And we've got Opa Dodge over at the Anthony Dodge and the Model Train Outsider. We've got Mr. Chuck Schreiber. We've got Dave over at DB Tech. We've got Derail Daryl in the house, if I could talk. Sheesh. We got JD over at Grandpa Rails. We got John Train BFGR. We got Mr. Ken Amos, who I was literally just texting with a little bit ago. Over at B&O 51. We've got Life with Roscoe. I do believe Life with Roscoe, that is Martin. All right. We've got Alan over at the Mason-Dixon. We've got Bob up there at PK&W Model Works. We've got me, and I tell you the truth, I'm really not here tonight. It's one of those things. Mr. Ron Moen just popped in. We got John number 2 over at the Schuylkill River Valley, who is having camera problems. You know, the thing of it is, I'm surprised my camera works. You know, with a face like mine, I've got a face for radio. So, and then we've got Stormy Sky Rail Productions in the house, and that is either going to be Dave, Steve, or Jenny, and it's probably Steve. I'm going to take a guess. All right. Oh, Mr. Almar is in the house. Maine Central is back. Good afternoon, Jason, or evening, sir. Welcome back. Yeah, this here was a little bit of a... this is the reason why we call it Sidetrack Sunday. Mr. Joe Rader in the Block Rock Central is in the house. Oh, man. So anyway, let's see. Who else? Anybody else pop in while I was sitting here making a fool of myself, which is typical. And it doesn't look like I've missed anybody. Like I said, if I did, I'm sorry. I do apologize. Like I said, I'm not sure which one of the 3 Stormy Skies is in here. I'm probably going to take a guess that it's Steve. It could be Dave, but I'm thinking it's probably Steve. So this is such a sidetrack Sunday that's a Wednesday. Thanks, Opa Dodge. Appreciate that, buddy. Not Steve tonight. Oh, okay. Not Steve tonight. All right. So then it must be Dave or Jenny. Oh my. And for the rest of the Sidetrack Sunday crew, I would have the gang up. I mean, if you really want to do that, I haven't really tested whether. Oh, it's Jenny in the house. Gotcha. I haven't tested whether my headphones actually work or not. So, and I've got them tangled up. Since I've re-rigged this thing, I have no idea. I haven't tried everything. Hey, Ron Montague over to Southwest Railroad is in the house. And Mr. Ron, I will be seeing you next weekend, sir. I have to keep you on your toes. Well, you know what? You all over there, Stormy Sky, do a pretty good job of that, and of course, so does everybody else. But you guys you all do a really good job of that over there, Stormy. Oh my! Of course, we're trying to keep everybody on their toes tonight. It was supposed to be John, now it's me, and Willow Creek Industrial Spur. Welcome in. Oh, this daggone chair. Rusty Possum Bayou is in the house. Yeah, if just in case anybody is wondering what I'm doing, my desk chair here has been giving me issues. Oh, okie dokie. Sounds like a winner. What's happened is there is an adjustment lever on the side of the chair, and it's supposed to be, I think, spring loaded. Well, the spring loaded portion of it doesn't work anymore. And if I lean back in the chair, all of a sudden I'll be, taking a nap back here because this thing, yeah. I had a rubber band on it, but I've run out of rubber bands. So now I got a piece of string tied to it to try and keep the lever from dropping. So anyway, yeah, I'm just having all sorts of fun over here. Let's see here. You know what? While I'm thinking about it, though, I need to do something here. You're gonna have to bear with me for just a minute. You just have to pardon me for just a second. Just chat amongst yourselves over there. Don't pay any attention to the man behind the curtain. I'm looking for something here because it's been one of those days. Okay. That's taken care of. Jeez. That was somewhat important. I'm sorry about that. Anywho. Hey, Ron, can you shoot me an email, if you don't mind, sir? Actually, I'll shoot you an email, for the reason why. You'll have to give me just a minute there. I've got something that because I'm going to forget about it. I'm going to forget about it before I, so I'm going to do this now. All right, that takes care of that. Sorry. Coordination. Okay. I will deal with that later. Now. Oh boy. So anywho, all right. Sorry. Now I've been sidetracked I've been sidetracked a couple different times here. So, it is what it is. Okay. Anyway, what have I been working on? Well, as I was saying before, you can see over my shoulder here, I was working on the incline or the decline for the uh, interurban line because I've started working on painting the backdrop on the south end of the dam. I actually have that side taken apart for the moment so that I can go ahead and do the painting of the backdrop. And I figured, well, while I was waiting for the paint to dry, I would go ahead and start playing around with this foam that Mr. Ken Amos had dropped off to me about a year and a half ago. And I got stuck I was working on that, and then things have been sideways since. The issue that I was having with said foam is obviously I have to bend this. And the problem is now this is a lot shorter than what it needs to be now because I've broken off the ends. I was trying to figure out how I could get it to bend to a 15-inch radius. And the more I messed with it, the more I snapped it off. So I kind of was chatting back and forth with Ken on text messaging. And anyway, there's another piece of it. Yeah, I went ahead and I was trying a couple different types of things to try and get it to where I could get it to bend. That's the thing. That's the thing, Bob. I went in there and I made the curves. Hey, Rail Artist is in the house. I thought I saw Thomas Grossi's in the house. And who else popped in here while I was sitting here distracted? Oh, Mr. Dwight Curley is in the house. And no, I haven't gotten to the challenge yet for the tank cars, but I will get there. I will get there. No, to be honest with you, Joe, I am working on the dam scene too. I'm actually explaining that in this week's video. So yeah, like I said, I went in there and tried going. Well, let me go ahead and. Where's one of the ones that I was working with originally? Yeah, I don't think that's not too deep, and that snapped. I mean, I had a very thin line here across this piece, and it snapped when I went to bend it. So it's not so much that it's, and here's another, there you go. There's another example of it, and that one just popped. So it's not too shallow. I mean, I've tried going, I guess maybe I went too deep the first time. And then I went too shallow. I don't know. I'm not 100% certain what the deal is, but it's not. It's just not. It's just not working out. And I know that they do it, Thomas. I've seen it. The thing of it, the problem was when I was looking at Woodland Scenics for doing that area over there, they don't tell you how much of it you need. So, and then, like I said, Ken came up with that piece, which was it was a 4-inch tall by like 4 foot long piece. It was perfect. And yeah, and then Dave over at DB Tech, yeah, I tried that too. I was going to stack up normal white foam over there and try to cut it in a circle. Yeah, that didn't work either. That turned out to be more of a pain in the rear end than what I bargained for. The other thing I guess I could do is I mean, actually, Ken and I were going back and forth. I might actually, because I've still got another piece of this with the full incline that I haven't dug into yet. Yeah, let me get back. This one here I haven't cut down at all yet. At least as far as getting it to the 2.5 or 2.125 inches height that I need. One of the things that I did notice is this does have spots in it to where it'll flex a little bit. And I was trying to mimic those, and that didn't work either. So, I tried drilling into it. I tried, cutting. I'm just gonna mess with it a little bit more, I guess. I'll get there. Cut it into strips and glue it together in a curve. That I tell you, one of the things that I'm actually thinking about doing is taking the other incline that I've done, and literally cutting it at like every inch and a half, and just cutting it at an angle to make that arc that I need to make, and do it that way instead of trying to keep it one piece. That's another option, I guess. So, it's like I said, it's something I have to mess with. Yeah, straight razor blade, the saw blade, or a hot wire. Some work better than others, and it's a preference. Yeah, I've got an exact, or not an, I got a box cutter knife, or one of these dudes, utility knife, and of course my my other tool of choice. The other tool of choice. Hey, it works. Anthony, Georgia Sunbelt is in the house. Welcome in. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a hot wire cutter. So, let's see, can buy a cylindrical concrete form and cut that up. Just run a piece of flat over the two pieces of it. I like I said, I was looking into a couple different ideas originally, and the things that I had just originally just weren't going to work. And then like I said, Ken came up with this and said, yeah, just go ahead and cut your incline and cut slots in it, and it should bend. It bends, and then poop, it pops. So, like I said, I think the other thing I might do is just go ahead and cut it into 1-inch sections or 1.5-inch sections, and just cut the edges at an angle and get it to just lay in there. Otter Creek and Rio Grande is in the house. Welcome in. Let's see, Otter Creek. That is Mr. Dennis. Yeah, I'm filling in there, Dennis. John's cameras decided that they didn't want to look at his handsome mug over there, and decided that they didn't want to work. So Dave Sparky 107 is in the house. On the phone watching slow chat night for me. Gotcha. All right. So, any rate, so that's basically what I'm working on. Like I said, though, going back to the dam scene, there is going to be a bit of an update to that this coming week. It'll come out Friday. Letting everybody know what the deal is with the dam. The damn. But I decided to go ahead and just finish painting the backdrops, and then I'll go ahead or at least getting the backdrop painted over towards Beauville Yard. And then there's also something else that I bring up on this video coming up about what's going to happen with Beauville Yard. So, any rate, if the radius is too tight, the strips is the best way to do it. Yeah, I'm like I said, I've got some ideas, and obviously there's been some folks that have dropped a few ideas in here too. So, I mean, I've got plenty of that foam that you gave me, Ken, left. I can sit there and play with it, fiddle with it, see if I can't get something that works. Like I said, worst comes to worst, I just go ahead and start at that 2 1/8 inch height that I need where the tracks are, right over top the hill here. And I go down to that flatness that'll be behind the warehouse. So, like I said, worst comes to worst, I just go ahead and hack it up into little pieces after I put the incline into it, number them, and just sit there and cut a, 15 inch or 15 degree or whatever I need slice into it to get it to bend to that 15-inch radius. And yes, I know folks we've talked about this a few different times. The radius on that interurban is tight. I get it. The thing is with the way that whole interurban worked out and trying to keep, everything set up. Okay. All right. Okie dokie. Okay. Anyway, sorry. All right. Now that I've lost my, 2-finger tango. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I hunt and peck. What was Sparky talking about? I will not be at the train show, guys. Wanted to hang out, but work before pleasure. Completely understood, Sparky. Completely understood. I'm sorry, dude, that you can't make it down here. We will definitely catch back up sometime. If nothing else, like I said before, one of these days I'm going to try to get up that way. So Delmarva Rail fans in the house, and Delmarva Rail fan is Jeff. Welcome in. Oh man. So, any rate, so like I said, I've got plenty of that pink foam left. I'll figure something out with it. It was one of those things. I'm getting close to that spot right as the interurban goes down towards the warehouse, and I'm like, well, I'm already down this way. I might as well, while I'm waiting for paint to dry, sit here and try to figure this out. And well, this ended up becoming its own monster in and of itself. So it's all good. It's not a huge thing. I will figure this one out. I appreciate everybody dropping their thoughts in the chat, because that helps a lot, because I can take what you all put in there, take the ideas that I have, take the ideas that Ken gives me, and something out of the 500 pieces will work. It's part of the deal. And to be perfectly honest, what Sparky's talked about with the Timonium Train Show in 3 weeks, that's part of the reason why I didn't make it up to Canada for his meet and greet between work changing and you can lightly heat the foam. Ken had mentioned that too, and I do have that portable soldering station that has a heat gun attachment, but I don't know if I really trust myself that much to go ahead and mess with that. To go ahead and get that foam to bend. I guess I could give it a shot. Yeah, I'm sure I could. I'm sure I could give that a go. But yeah, I get it. Things happen. People get busy, and try a hair dryer. You know what? I think we may actually have one or two of them floating around the house. And Randall Olson is in the house. Welcome in, sir. Extremely tired after work, and I can completely get that. Adam Cruz is in the house. Welcome in. Darby Rail Services. Nice. Yeah, you're right, Darby. Well, one of the things is the reason why we didn't make up a new shirt yet is, well, number one was the fact that yours truly hasn't been messing around with his Teespring store that much at all. Ray has not seen, really, Mike? I did just get my hair cut yesterday. Thank you very much. Oh, my goodness. What am I going to do with you all? I would go crazy if it wasn't for the fact. Let's see. I don't know if I know Darby Rail Services' first name. So, sorry. We aren't on a first name basis there, Darby. I'm sorry. Any rate, we don't have you in our list. Or at least I don't. Ray has a lot of hair, in my opinion. Well, yeah, that's one of the things. Every time I go to get my hair cut, they're like, "My gosh, your hair is thick." Well, yeah, it's just mostly when it goes ahead and grows out, it's mostly gray. Of course, I blame my daughter for that. Robert, gotcha. Darby Rail Services is Robert. Thank you very much, Robert. I'm going to add you to our list, because we like to try to be on first name basis. Mr. A. Bertelson is in the house. Which one? Otter Creek and Rio Grande. I think I said hi to you a little bit before. All right, gray hair daughters will do that to you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I blame her on, although she blames my work. She said it wasn't me. So anyway, yeah. So that's been the fun. I know that some folks in here saw the impromptu. I shouldn't say the impromptu. It was the fill-in video, because what I wanted to get to last week, which was starting on this, starting on the north or the south end of the dam scene, kind of got sidetracked and derailed itself. So I didn't have anything to put out last week. So I figured, well, I've already started editing the computer desk rebuild. I might as well just go ahead and put that up, all 45 minutes of it. Sorry. Your daughter made you lose hair. Let's see. What's this? Lucky for you, I have one daughter. I have three, so you know where I'm going with it. Yeah, I know where you're headed there, JD. Curved slope is sheet styrene. Yeah. The biggest thing of it is, folks, and for those that don't remember what it looks like, and unfortunately I don't have anything set up to do that right now. what I'm talking about is the tracks that actually go from the Wykert Hill area, which is where the dam scene is, and it goes down a decline right behind where the warehouse sits on the uptown side of Beauville. And yeah, there's a bunch of different ways you could certainly do it. You could go ahead and do exactly what Bob just mentioned. Go ahead and build up a piece of sheet styrene or build up sheet styrene to go ahead and go across it. I had even thought, and this here would have been, I think I actually had started looking into it and decided, no, this isn't going to work. I've got all that daggone sheet foam core that I probably could have scratch built something and put it in there, but that wouldn't have looked right either. I don't think. On the roof for 10 hours. Whoosh. Fiddler, that Ray Bertelsen was the fiddler on the roof today. Or he was trying to get ahead of the Christmas season. Sorry, Ray. Everybody picks on me. I got to pick back. So yeah, I mean that would be that certainly could be another possibility, Bob. Absolutely. It just depends, on last time I was on a roof, I broke my ankle. Yeah, we remember that, Dave. He was. He's. Oh boy, Dennis, you have no idea. Thank you, John. Yes, it has. That damn scene has been kicking my butt. And the other thing now is the stuff that I was originally going to use to make that scene work, they aren't selling anymore. So I got to come up with plan B. Trying to get it done before winter and doing it solo. Oh, wrong one. There we go. I was thinking long, shallow triangle out of the styrene uses splines for the slope, glue in the cross members to hold the curve. Again, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Another great idea, Bob. No question. Last time I was on a roof, I had a bed sheet. Tip: bed sheets don't make good parachutes. Was that one chute or two chutes? You said it was a parachute, so I guess it was two. Never mind. Ken's Back Shop, welcome in. I'm hanging in there, my friend. I'm hanging in there. So is the damn scene the damn scene? Yeah, it's become the damn. Yeah, it's I've been damning this damn scene for a while. Yeah, exactly, Otter Creek. Dennis, it's doing, and I remember something from years ago where somebody said, when you look at a trestle that is on a curve, the trestle itself doesn't actually curve. The boxes are actually, the inside is actually just a little bit shorter so that it goes ahead and makes the curve. If you look at the tracks on it, the tracks don't stay centered on the girder or on the trestle. They actually do go in and out. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. The thing of it is if this was going to be a trestle area, that would be easy, to a point, but it's not. It's supposed to be a solid piece of whatever ground. So, depending on how it goes, it could be, oh boy. Thanks, JD. Cutting more laser cut NMRA rulers after my not sponsored on a second section sold 5 of the HO ones. Nice, Adam. Yeah, exactly, Ken. Yeah, trestles are a series of straight sections. So yeah, it's yeah. Any rate, like I said, if this was a trestle, that would be a no-brainer. I'd be able to figure out how to get it around that piece real easy. But this here, since it's supposed to be, like I said, ground or a wall or something of that nature, so yeah, I have a lot of ideas for that layout. Gotcha. Okay. So, any rate, it is what it is. Well, I'm making progress. I'm getting things done. So it's slow. And like I've mentioned to a couple of folks, I know that Dwight over at the Curly Express, I do believe it's Dwight over at the Curly Express, has got a tanker car challenge going on. And unfortunately, at the moment, because of the fact that I've been doing all the scenery work, well, this week I actually took the bridge out. So you're not going to be able to run. I can't run any of the trains right now. Hey, James, over at the Dundas Junction. Welcome in, sir. Oh, so any rate, yeah. So right now the trains definitely are not running. they are all out. They do a podcast, I think, on Saturday nights now. Skipped around. Oh, okay. Somebody is talking about a podcast, and I'm not in. Oh, the second section podcast. Gotcha. I think every once in a while I see something about that, but I'm usually knee deep in trying to get this thing done. Do a bridge chat. I'll just bring out the maintenance away train there, Anthony. You know what? What's funny is Bob. That's what's holding that section up right now. That is literally what's holding that section up right now. The issue is the piers that I have holding it up. Well, it appears the piers that are holding it up aren't tall enough, because when I put the roadbed underneath, it raised it up, and now they're not actually holding anything up. So, any rate, oh man. Well, I appreciate that, James. Yeah, the Howard Street Tunnel. That is an area that I'm very familiar with. Exactly. Yeah. Right now, nothing's going through. Nothing's getting through. Traffic has ceased at the moment. Willow Creek Industrial. Did I have? Yeah, that's Brad. Okay, we got that one. Brad's in the house. Alrighty. Yeah, I've got quite a few, James. I think, what have I got? I think I'm up to like 15 or 18 now, which for this railroad's a lot, considering the fact that there's nothing. So, GRE 2057. Welcome in. That's a new name, I do believe. And I don't believe that I have got you on our list of. Nope, I do not. We don't have a. Yeah, I know that they reopened it. Yeah, I heard. You're using the duck and there's no advertisements during the stream. Well, that's because of the fact that I don't have enough subscribers. Prefer not to say the name. That's perfectly fine, GRE. That's perfectly fine. You're all good. I understand. So, anywho, had to step away for a few minutes. Alrighty. Oh, nope. Okay. All right. Perfect. I will sync up with you on that later, Ron. Thank you. At G. apparently, Grandpa Rails has the inside scoop. it's all, it's all right. It's all right. And talking about bridges, I have one on the Sunrise modules that I started 3 years ago. Right now, I have a fence up that says "Bridge Out." Not all right. Yeah. Well, if anybody remembers, when I did the Frankenstein, or when I started with the Frankenstein locomotive, that's what I did. I actually had on my old 13-foot by 11-foot layout, I actually took the bridge out and had the locomotive take a dive bomb into the river below. Don't have a lot of tank cars, but I have about 300 coal hoppers and no place to run. Holy moly! Yeah, for the most part, for those that are new to hanging out here, for the most part, the B&N it's a mix of freight and passenger. Most of the freight that goes across this, at least for the locals, is all box cars and refrigerator cars. Now, I do have, well, not express trains, but I do have through freights that will use, flat cars, tank cars, hopper cars. I've got both they're the 70 ton and also the 30 ton. The 30 ton hoppers actually do end up, let me see if I can, nope, can't spin that way. There we go. We'll spin that way. Straight back is a gravel dealer that is inside of Wakert Industrial. There's a scrap dealer back there, so there's gondola cars and then the hopper cars, and then of course the rest of it's all refrigerator cars and box cars that are a part of the local. But then, like I said, you've got everything else on the through freights, and basically the way this layout is set up, or that its function is that it is a bridge route between Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and Richmond, Virginia. So basically just far enough west to get into some of the hillier areas, but not into the Appalachians. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. To a point. I guess, for lack of a better term, I'm proto-lancing. I'm trying to mimic some of the area around here, but not directly, taking and saying, well, this is this. The dam scene is loosely based off of the Loch Raven Reservoir. If anybody is familiar, well, most of the folks have heard me talk about that. But, and I forgot who it was that was asking the question here. Delmarva Rail fan. Yes, for the most part, I tried to mimic some of the area around here. Eventually, the farm, which is over here, or going to be over here, is going to loosely mimic the old Cloverland Farms dairy farm up off of Delaney Valley Road and Windermere Parkway. The dam scene is, like I said, loosely based on Loch Raven. So that's that. And Deep Run Mike, that is a great question. I am not modeling either. What I'm doing here is, hey, Frank Steeler fan, long time no see. What I'm doing here is I am modeling from 1950 to 1970. gives me a chance to run some steam locomotives, which I still love. I love the mechanicalness of steam locomotives, being able to see all the moving parts on the outside. And that's basically, so I can run steam and diesel. The most modern diesel that I think I've got on the layout is probably my SD40-2s, and I've got three of them now. There was a fellow that is in here in the chat that actually sent me one last Christmas for the Western Maryland. So I'm very much freelance proto-lancing. It's more on the freelance than it is the proto-lance. I mean, there really wasn't a rail line that went from Richmond, Virginia to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And because of the demographic, it allows me to run a different mix of different flags. And a lot of the stuff that I run is a lot of the older fallen flags: Western Maryland, B&O, C&O, Monin. I do run Chessie System. So it's like right in that merger area where, the B&O, C&O, Western Maryland all kind of got together, along with the seaboard and the Atlantic coast and things of that nature. You'll see a lot of those on here. I've got a Delaware and Hudson locomotive. I've got New Haven locomotives on here. I've got Pennsylvania locomotives on here, New York Central. So it's a mixed bag, and most of it is East Coast railroads from Maine down to North Carolina, or if you really want to get down to it, all the way down to Florida. There is some Southern. I do have the Southern Crescent Limited. One of the passenger trains that runs is a downsized version of, the Southern Crescent Limited, but yes. And I also do have, you just mentioned the RF&P. I've got an RF&P locomotive. It just, like I said, there's a lot of the East Coast, because I'm real familiar with it because I grew up here. I'm 25 minutes, 30 minutes away from the Northeast Corridor, Martin State Airport. It's all right there. I mean, I can remember seeing the GG1s back in the 70s as they were going away, but I remember seeing a few of them in the 70s in Amtrak paint schemes flying up and down the Northeast Corridor. So that the reason behind the 1950 to 1970, there is a portion of this layout that was started back in 1950. The track plan that was on there is long since gone, but the piece of wood's still there. My grandfather started this nuttiness back then, and then I was born in 1970. So, that's kind of the thing. No, Sparky, they just started to drill pilings into the ground, the test piles, to test the ground around where they want to put the new bridge. So you basically have well, sort of, yeah, to a point. To a point. I'll have to go back through and maybe do another motive power rundown and show everybody what exactly is on the layout right now and what is in standby mode. Because right now, I mean, like I said, I can run steam if I wanted to. I've got steam locomotives. My steam locomotives are nowhere near as plentiful as my diesels. So, I was a what? All right, JD, so you got 10 years on me, buddy. Oh, man. Deep Run Mike was 1970 was a good year to start high school. Holy cow. I graduated in 88. Sheesh. See, that's the cool thing. I mean, I know that that's See, look at this. Here it is. I was born, and we've got a person that was 8, a person that was 9, somebody was getting ready to start high school, somebody else that was 11. Oh my gosh, I was in the military in 1970. Somebody says I finished high school in 71. Darby saying he's got me by 2 years. Ray Burleson graduated in 1879. Boy, you're doing really good, dude. Oh boy. Ray Burleson's almost 100 now. Thanks, Ray. I needed that. Holy guacamole. Ray was on that roof a long time. I think the sun got to him, Mike. Wow. Geez, James. Well, Ray, at least they're picking on they're picking on you instead of me for a change. How's the Northeast Corridor Bridge project coming along? I have no idea, to be honest with you. I heard something about it, Jeff, but I haven't really been following it. I know that apparently somebody or somewhere I had heard that Amtrak wants to redo the Northeast Corridor bridges. And actually, do you know what it was? It was my brother was talking about it because the bridge over the Bush River, they want to redo it because that is a swing or a rotating bridge, and or is it a? See, now you all are going to get me to thinking because I don't remember. What happened to? There it is. Boat trip. No, I'm sorry. That's a Basque bridge. That's a lift. It's a lift bridge. So, yeah. If someone would bring me an nail gun, it would go faster. Let's see. Mr. Bob has got a question here. Do you have a standard coupler on your layout? What's your logic for that selection? Or okay, well, here's the deal. Oh, we're gonna go down this rabbit hole. I am currently using a mix. I've got KD number 5s. I've got KD 148s. I've got what the heck is the standard head or the scale head? 150 something. I don't remember what the number is on that, but then most of the stuff that's all on the locals. Okay, so here's where we're at with this. All of my box cars, refrigerator cars, gondola cars, hopper car, or 30-ton hoppers. Well, I shouldn't say all, but the non-covered 30-ton hoppers are all KDs. And they're a mix of number 5s, 148s, and I think 151s. Or the 156s. Thank you, JD. Appreciate that. 158, 156. There's a couple different ones. Anyway, so for the locals, I'm using the KDs because eventually I will go over to using the electromagnets to do the uncoupling and recoupling. I just haven't gotten that far yet, so I'm still using bamboo sticks, or not bamboo stick, but shish kebab sticks to go ahead and do that. The rest of the stuff is, well, let me back up 1 second because I do have what I call transition cars. Those are stock cars, the big cylindrical or the big hoppers. Some of my specialized flat cars are transitions. So they're horn hook on one end and KD on the other. So that way I can mix freight up on those. Everything else is straight horn hooks. The reason for that is obviously KDs are not cheap. They are really not cheap. So over the years, I've gotten some were handed over. I've bought some myself. I bought some off some folks that were transitioning over to over to the scale head instead of the standard heads, and so on and so forth. I will tell you, preference wise, I would love to go straight KDs. Why? Because of the fact that once they're coupled, they don't come apart real easy. The horn hooks have a bad tendency of uncoupling. The one thing I am finding, though, is that with the KDs, they have to be 100% right. They can't be off a little bit. If they're off a little bit, they're going to uncouple. If your track work isn't completely, level, if there's little undulations in it and those couplers aren't 100% lined up, they're going to uncouple. So they're not as forgiving, I think, as the horn hooks, but they certainly hook a heck of a lot better. I mean, they really, really do. I mean, I like the look of them and I like the operation of them. It's been a learning curve to get them tweaked to where they line up correctly. And the thing of it is, in reality, even with the horn hooks, if they don't line up right, or if you get two different ones that are way out of, if they're not quite right, if there's any type of flash or a burr or something like that in there, they're going to cause you all sorts of issues. Couplers are a huge problem. And it doesn't seem to matter which way you go. But to me, I complain about them, the KDs. I do complain about them because of the fact that they are very fiddly. But for the aesthetics and the operability, they're wonderful. It's just that they're extremely fiddly. So, it's one of those things. I started making the transition, I guess it was a year and a half ago or so, going from the horn hooks to the KDs. And the biggest thing I will say is this: in HO scale specifically, do not try to mix the couplers up. In other words, don't try to use the Bachmann, the Bachmann knockoff, or who the heck's the other one? There's another one that makes the KD style, and yeah, McHenry. That's the other manufacturer. Don't mix them up. They do not work well with each other. And not to mention the fact that the McHenrys and the Bachmanns are all plastic, where the KDs are metal. I don't know. Microtrains might make them for HO, but I don't have any of those. I've got the damn McHenrys. I tossed those damn things. I threw those son of a guns out. I had them on a couple of passenger cars that I had picked up at a train show, and they were the biggest pieces of junk. Ugh. Really? Yeah, it's probably just me then. Okay, well, to each his own. I'm just saying the things that I've run into. That's the things that I've run into, Jason. It can be, they can be a pain, and sometimes they don't like to play nice with each other. Try Sergeant couplers. They're super realistic. You have to kit build them. Oh, great. The problem with Sergeant there, Sparky, is the fact that I was in the Navy. If they were captain, it'd be something different. But anyway, didn't realize I was storing. No, you're. No, it trust me. It's kind of like the what's the other thing that everybody what's the other thing? Oh yeah, the plastic or metal wheels. That's another one that everybody will take sides on. Oh, you're gonna go to metal wheels. Oh, you're gonna get. I'm gonna use what I can get my hands on. Surge. Okay. Yes, I'm a former squid and proud of it. Thank you very much. Let's talk about track cleaning. Oh boy. McHenry couplers are great for painting them and putting them in a scrap pile. Yeah, probably pretty good for that. Yeah, I can see that. I know that Micros trains, as far as the N scale goes, they make some damn good stuff, and not just the couplers, but even their rolling stock and such. Yeah, that's some good. If I was doing N scale, that's probably where I would be. I have both plastic and metal wheels. Yep, I like metal wheels for my favorite cars. Okay. Can we talk about truck cleaning now? All right, since Robert has brought up this other dirty thing about track cleaning, to be perfectly honest, I do something that's probably still frowned upon and upon most of the folks in the community, but that's fine. I use odorless mineral spirits only. I have found that since I built this thing, I think I've cleaned my track twice. And even now, I could go over there and run my fingers across it and not pull up any type of residue. The tracks have stayed very clean just using an old rag and some odorless mineral spirits. Navy, then I was a flying squid. Oh, okay. Belt sander. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know that Bob is going dead rail. And the on a 3D okay, so use alcohol. So do you use like Jim Beam, Jack Daniels? Sorry, Dave. Yeah. I'd like to learn a little bit more about that one, Roscoe. They tried to get me to switch ranks from Sonar Technician Surface over to doing the sensor platform on the SH60s, but I decided I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stay as a sonar technician, so I did. I am surprised, JD, that you didn't say Bailey's. It's okay. We went down that road. I use WD-40 and scrubbies. Yep. Okay, Roscoe. You know, we are since we are talking about track cleaning. If you watched, there was a video a couple weeks back. I was working on some stuff for a family member, O scale, and the tracks were just really, really tarnished. I mean, they were rusted, is what they were. And it's O gauge 3-rail. And I remembered through the years somebody talking about using a greenie, what we used to call in the service a greenie weenie. It was basically one of the Scotch-Brite pads, and running that across there and taking that was wonderful. So if you're an O scale, Scotch-Brite pads are perfect. Flew in an A6. Nice. The A6 Intruders. I was on a target. Hey Ray, you're gonna have some Baileys, or I should. Yeah, I don't have. I have to look, JD. I think the wife might actually have some floating around. I'll have to look. I will let you know. I will let you know about that. Mr. Clean White. Yeah, okay. There you go. Bring it, JD. Oh boy. Yeah, I was on a ship that has long since been decommissioned. When he was in the Army, he flew mostly C-130s. Yeah, they unfortunately, where I'm at, Martin State Airport, which is also the home of the Maryland Air National Guard, they used to have the C-130s and the A-10s, and of course, neither one of them is there anymore. So, call sign was breakers because I forgot to reset the breakers. What is the greenie weenie? Something like a front? No, that's Scotch-Brite pads. Nice. Nice. Took off in them, didn't land in them. I catch your. So you were a paratrooper. Gotcha. I got you. Yeah, one of the guys that one of the guys that I used to work with, he was in the Army. He was a paratrooper, or part of that group. And if you know, I went ahead and renamed the old Paradise Diner that I have, which is an old American Flyer HO gauge piece. I renamed that to JR's Parachute Inn. He was a good guy. I miss my buddy JR. Good people. Greenie weenie is what the Army gives you if you mess up. Oh boy. Grandpa Rails was a load toad on the F-15s. Yeah, the Eagles. I tell you, I one of the stories that I tell folks is when I was in, we were out doing war games off the coast, and the Eisenhower was out there, and the admiral on the Eisenhower and the captain that was on board my ship apparently were good friends. And he asked him if he asked us if we could come alongside for a underway replenishment at dusk. And of course, my captain was like, sure, is there a reason why you want to do it? He's like, yeah. He says, yeah, we've had a little bit of a crew turnover. He says, and I'd like to do one at dusk. He says, as we do things like that, it brings, it brings it brings the levels up a little bit. And he says, the only thing I will tell you, he said, if you do agree to it, he said, make sure that anybody that's on deck has got their hearing protection on. And of course, I overhear all this, and I'm like, I wonder why we need our hearing protection. Well, that's because when we pulled up alongside of the Ike, of course, when a ship the size that I was on pulls up alongside of a carrier, we have to pull all the way forward. The ship that I was on was a guided missile fast frigate. So you had to pull fairly close up on the bow. They were at flight ops. They were shooting F-18s off the flight deck. I'm like, now I know why we needed our hearing protection. That was freaking awesome to see, to see the F-18s take off of the carrier deck at dusk, because you could see the afterburners as they were launching. And don't let anybody fool you. Those planes do drop at the end of that freaking flight deck. They don't take off. They drop and then they take off. they do drop off the end of that deck. Uncle Sam's Misguided Children, USMC. Yeah. The Army calls them choppers. The Navy calls them helos. The Marine Corps goes, Anyway, Mike, I was in the service from 88 to 92, and they hadn't used the unmanned aircraft yet. We still had the SH-60s on board. We had two of them on board whenever we went out. Take it easy, Ken. But yeah, I mean, we didn't get to play with them. I can tell you, well, no, I can't. I can't say that we did have something else that we did have on board at one point in time, but I can't talk about that one. At least not here. We at one point in time had a group of coasties on board because we were down in the Gulf of Mexico. So, but that was the one time that we didn't have an actual SH-60. We didn't have the SH-60s on board for that one. Keep going, Ray. I can't do anything until this 3D print is done. Oh my. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go for another 5 minutes, but then I need to drop because I've got some things that I need to take care of off on the side. Like I said, I hadn't planned on doing this, but I figured when John said he needed help, that's what we do over here. So maybe hopefully John can go ahead and get things taken care of. Maybe he can take Sidetrack Sunday number 4 for this month. We'll talk offline, John. Just to let everybody know, I've still got the sheet open for the meet and greet coming up in basically 3 weeks, October 25th and 26th. I did find out something this week that was interesting, and that is the fact that the TCA up at the York show or York Fairgrounds is the 20th through the 25th. I'm not sure whose bright idea that was to go ahead and have 2 train shows going on at the same time, 30 some miles apart? Seriously? Come on, people. I hope to be there. Great. I have the link to, I'm not sure, you may have already done this, but that's okay. I'm going to put it up anyway for anybody else that that may be interested. If you're in the area, if you're planning on making the trek up here to Maryland and Timonium, we are having a meet and greet, and we're also going to have two model railroad tours, one over at Joe Rader's Black Rock Central. The other one will be over here at the Beauville in Newtown. And that on the 25th, let me back up. So on October 25th at the Timonium Fairgrounds, the Great Scale Model Train Show, between 11:30ish on the 25th, the northwest portal, that's the portal between the Central Hall and the North Hall, all the way back in the back by the food, the catering business. We'll meet back there between 11 and 11:30. We'll hang out for a bit, do whatever. And then I believe at some point, Joe is going to have folks come over to his place. I think he was talking between 2 and 3-ish or somewhere in that area. And then have afterwards, after you all are done over at Joe's, I'm going to be, obviously, I'll be back here getting things set up over here. We'll have folks come over and tour the B&N. And if you want to hang out for food and just hang out for general chit chat, I'm going to have some food brought in at about 5:30ish. And then we'll hang out here the rest of the night, shoot the breeze, eat some food, have a good time. And then Sunday morning on the 26th, we'll meet down at the Baltimore Streetcar Museum at noon and hang out down there for the day. So that is what we're going to do. He's going to be at York. Roscoe's going to be at York on the 24th. We'll try to be there on the 25th and be in Scranton. Wow, you're getting around there, Roscoe. Make a weekend out of it, Ray. Go for a drive. 2 to 4 over at Joe's. There you go. There we go. So yeah, that's the train show meets at your place. All you can eat pizza, no burgers. Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah, I'm gonna have pizza, wings, probably a salad for those that want to partake in salad. I'll have some salad here too. I'll probably have some sort of desserts for later on. But yeah, we always, I've been doing this for a couple of years now. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy having folks come back and hang out and chit chat. I try to make sure that I catch up with everybody and we just have a ball. We just have a ball, so, should I bring firewood or the funniest thing of it is, Dave, is we gave my daughter the fire pit. So I don't even have a fire pit anymore. Not to mention the fact that I've got a neighbor that I don't think would appreciate it if we were all out there until freaking 9, 10, 12 o'clock at night. He's a bit of a jerk, but we won't go there. I know you're bringing Jack Jack up. This is going to be great. I don't think I've ever met Jack Jack. Oh, nice. Congratulations. DB Tech roasting locomotives on the open fire. Oh, that was good, James. Oh my gosh. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, one of these, I tell you what, like I've said before, there is a bunch of folks that I would definitely love to catch up with. I know I met Frank up at Strasbourg a couple years ago. Bring the firewood, DB. Oh boy, you go gonna get me in trouble. I don't need any help in that department. Is Tammy and Ray going to be there? No, unfortunately, they will not be here because their one dog is expecting to deliver puppies very, very soon. So yeah, they're not going to make it up. Unfortunately, I really wish they could, but I completely understand. I completely understand. Oh my gosh. You all. I love this community. Oh my. Anyway. All right. Well, it's 9:18 and I am about done. I've got some, like I said, I got a couple things that I've got to go ahead and taken care of. Oh, they had the puppies last week. Very good. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Hopefully everybody is doing good. Oh, speaking of which, I did buy my tickets to Amherst the other day, so I will be up in Amherst in January. I will be up there in January. Woohoo! So, any rate, so next week is Dave over at DB Tech. He's going to have Sidetrack Sunday. And I really do appreciate everybody being in here tonight. I know that this was a last minute change. I really do appreciate John giving us the heads up and me being able to jump in and take over and, being able to keep the show on track, at least as far as the schedule goes. So you all know the deal. Wait for the high ball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you all next time. Be safe. God bless. And we'll see you. Stop.